Hi friends, I'm Julia. Welcome to my garden. It is a beautiful April day here in my Vermont garden, albeit a little bit windy, as it almost always is here, and especially in the spring. So I apologize for any wind sounds that may be happening. My plan in this video is to do a spring cleanup of my garden beds around the house. Now it is evening right now. I have the beautiful golden hour light happening, or starting to happen. But I only have a couple hours at most, so I'm hoping I can get to the beds on this front side of my house, and then tomorrow I'll pick up on the other beds around the other sides of the house. So that's my plan. What I mean by spring cleanup is I'm going to be cutting back perennials, any stalks and leaves that overwintered, and cleaning them out. I'm going to be pruning shrubs like my hydrangeas and roses, and also giving them some fertilizer. I do use rose fertilizer on both the roses and hydrangeas. And I will be weeding, and if I see anything else that I feel like needs to get done, I'll do that. I will be using my Felco pruners and a kneeling pad and a tub and or pop-up bag to put debris in. As I mentioned, I will be using some rose fertilizer, and I think that's pretty much it. I do have some kids playing around me, so you may see or hear them in the background, like that one there. But yeah, I'm just gonna bring you along. I'm gonna film while I'm working, and then when I'm done, either with this area or the whole thing, I will show you what I've done. It is dinner time now, and it's been really, really windy and cold. It's getting dark. So we're gonna be done for tonight. I did not finish the front of the house here. I got through my pink hydrangeas. There's 3 of those over there. One set of 3 of the Incredible, just regular color that come out creamy and turn like a green color, as well as the black pearl heuchera that I planted here last year. I cleaned that up a bit. And then that's where I stopped. So I'm gonna have to do some more weeding in this bed and work my way over. I've got 3 more Incredible hydrangeas and other things up here. So we'll see what the weather's like tomorrow. Might just continue on this way, or we might start on the other side while it's shady over there. So I will see you in the morning as we continue. So it's day 2 now of working on my beds around the house. It's a little bit chillier, but not as windy as yesterday afternoon, and the sun is out right now, so we're going to enjoy that. I'm going to pick up where I left off, which is just by these hydrangeas in the front of my house. I've got the walkway to do and the other hydrangeas, and then we'll start working our way around. I've got my little guy with me. I finally finished the front of the house here. So I pruned and fertilized the hydrangeas. I did a lot of weeding. I cut back the heuchera. Some of them are smaller than others. That's okay, they'll all grow. And there's some really good new fresh growth on them actually. They actually stayed in color all winter. It was very exciting. Along the front walkway here, I have placed bricks around them. I did that when I fixed the beds a couple years ago, and I'm not a professional at it, so I didn't put any sand or anything underneath it. So I found that after about 2 seasons, I need to come back in, and I really wanted to get the weeds out from the ones lining the walkway, so I went through and reset those, taking all the weeds out. I should probably do the same and like lift up the ones along the outer edge, but I decided that was not a priority right now. So maybe that might even be a next year thing. So yeah, we did all that. One thing I wanted to mention, there is a big project I need to tackle this spring, and I need to get the supplies for it. You'll have noticed there is a drain pipe coming off of our gutter pipe there. I have been noticing last year and this past winter when we had a lot of rain, there's a big puddle there, and I'm afraid that it's affecting those 3 boxwoods on the edge there, that they're getting drowned out. They're not growing quite as well as the rest of them. So I'm actually going to try to get some pipe and a little like pop-up drain thing so that the pipe will come out into the lawn and it'll pop up closer to the driveway so that my plants there don't get drowned out, and I'll bring in some more soil to put around them as well so we don't have a huge puddle. I also will be putting 1 more hydrangea at least on each side here on the inside. I'm debating putting them also on another one on the outside, but leaning towards not. We're moving on to this side here. It's the south side of my house. I worked on this a bit last year. In the spring, I planted this gorgeous Ruby Tears crabapple here, and it's budding up and leafing out, and I'm so excited to see its blooms again this year. Gorgeous pink blooms. And I planted some peonies and nepeta here in a video last fall, and I'll link that here. It was a beautiful day to plant, and but I didn't get to see them, you know, they weren't growing or in the ground last spring. So I'm very excited to see them grow and hopefully get some blooms this year. 2 of them are definitely peeking up, looking great. One of them, the Sarah Bernhardt, actually I think has like little red buds, but it's not poking up quite the same way as the other 2. But I'm going to give it some time. So what we're gonna do here, you will have noticed the large mess there. I do need to clean that up still. I've been waiting to have my husband's help on that, so hopefully he'll be able to help me soon. If not, I'll have to get started on it myself, but the list is long. I'm gonna do a little bit of weeding. I do see some things poking up. I am going to get some peony supports in the ground where the peonies are. And then I have my Nepeta. I'll just cut back the old stems of that. The new foliage is already coming up beautifully. I have there's a trellis you can kind of see behind me, has a teasing Georgia rose on it and a Rigucci clematis, both of which were planted last year, and they're both coming back. So actually the rose is leafing up quite a bit. I probably should have already pruned and fertilized it, but we're gonna do it now. It was planted last year bare root, so it was in the sleep mode, I think, last year. Maybe it might be creep mode this year. Is that the second year? Sleep, creep, and then leap. So we'll see, but I'm really happy that it's coming back so beautifully. It was a pretty mild winter, so hopefully we'll get some gorgeous blooms on all of our climbing plants. And then there's also some lady's mantle there that I will cut back the dead foliage, and those are also coming back beautifully. And I think that's all we're gonna do on this side. There's more going on over by the maple tree and lilac over here, but that bed needs like a major renovation refresh. So, and I'm not doing that today. So yeah, let's tackle this side. So I finished up this side. I did some weeding, especially around the peonies and the tree there, and put the peony supports on the peonies, which is good too, because my kids sometimes run through the garden beds and I'm really worried about them stepping on the new peony shoots. So that should help protect them as well. I cleaned up the Nepeta and the lady's mantle, and also a Baptisia that was here. I'm so happy it's coming back. I'm so excited to see it. I also planted it last fall. I don't think I did it on video, and it's I think it's called Pink Lemonade. It's the Baptisia from Proven Winners that has like pink and yellow. And I might actually want to get 1 or 2 more plants to put there. They do get kind of big though. I'm thinking about it. And then of course I pruned the clematis and the rose and fertilized them. It does still look really messy over here. I decided not to go through and do a thorough weeding because this area really, like, I need to just plant a bunch of stuff in it. It's really hard to weed because this is like the native, there's a lot of clay soil in here, and it's a mess. So I weeded the part that we cleared out last year. My plan is to put a lot more plants in it over the next few years, which should really cut down on the weeds, but in the meantime, I'm gonna have to try to stay on top of it. But again, I need to do a lot of cleaning out. So I will come back to a lot of this area later, and hopefully there'll be more videos as I do that and put more plants in here. I have a lot of ideas. And if you see this space and have ideas of things you think would be beautiful, let me know. I did not get to the deck beds, and it is already past time I should have started dinner. So I'm gonna stop for today, go in and do that, and then I think tomorrow it's supposed to rain. So on a day when it's not raining, I will pick up again on the deck beds and we'll go through that. But you know, I've got something done. It always takes a little longer to get things done than I think it's going to, and you know, I'm parenting, so everything just takes longer when parenting. If you know, you know. All right, friends, I'll see you on day 3 of this adventure. It is day 3 of working on the beds around my house. The wind is back, so you'll probably be hearing that, and it's a little chilly today. But I just have these last 2 beds to take care of, and these are ones that I created last year. You could see them in the Around the House tour I did, I think last August. I'll link it here. So there's some hydrangeas, a standard and a bobo hydrangea in there. There's some roses. There's some perennials like Gara and Nepeta. And then there's some annuals that I'll just cut down the stalks from last year. And it looks like a lot of weeds. So that looks like what we're going to be doing: some pruning, cleaning up, weeding, and fertilizing it. Oh, and there's also peonies. So I brought more peony stakes to do that as well. So I have a couple hours. Let's see if we can get this done. So this side here with my hydrangea standard and some roses and peonies. This was the first year I've pruned this hydrangea standard. I put it in last summer. I did in the fall cut off the dead blooms because I was afraid they would get snow on them and then break the branches. And I gave it a pretty hard prune back. I was a little nervous about it first, but I did. I've heard that's the best way to do that. I want to have a really strong base of growth, and that seems to be the best way to do it. But again, it's the first time I'm doing that, so hopefully it will respond well. There's one rose here that was it was kind of smaller and it was already growing back quite a bit, and I didn't prune it maybe as much as I think maybe I should have, but we're gonna see how that goes. Kind of like experiment. The other ones I did cut back pretty hard as well. And then I cleaned up the peony and put a support here. That peony is growing back really, really well. I'm really pleased with that. It's a Paula Fay. Also, all three of the Nepeta I put in this bed are coming back. So it looks so much cleaner too. Having the dead annual stems out also looks better. And the big thing I'm finding is there are a lot of maple seeds and seedlings in this bed in particular. Like, they're everywhere. They're all over my yard, like more so than I remember from past years. So it's from this Norway maple here, and it's a beautiful tree, and obviously we're keeping it. But the problem is the Norway maples are invasive in our area, hence all of the seedlings. I'd prefer a sugar one, but I didn't plant it, so maybe we'll put a sugar maple somewhere else. So I'm going to move to the other side where I have my bobo hydrangea. I have some roses. It's where the fountain lives. I'm not putting the fountain out today though, but we'll clean up around where it's going to go, so then when we're ready to take it out, it's all clean. I have a little bit of time. I'm going to get it started, and then I'll have to take a break and come back. So the beds are all cleaned up. It did start raining on me as I was finishing up, so I took a little pause. Things are gonna look wet right now. But what I wanted to do was just take you around and give you a little bit more detail. I've been sharing as I went along what I've been doing, but I'll just show you what I've done. And hopefully it doesn't start raining on me again, because there are still clouds. So Starting at the end here, this is the bed where my little fountain goes with the little children reading books. And so I will get that set up hopefully in the next couple weeks. And I cleaned up the roses and the bobo hydrangea, and I cut back, there is Gara that will come back there. But there is a lot of empty space in this bed. So I have my wheels turning on, I have some ideas. So hopefully this year we'll start putting more stuff in there. Probably won't fill it up in 1 year, but if you have ideas that you think would look gorgeous there, I'm in zone 5, so I'd like them to be perennial. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. And on this side, I did clean up. I had 2 roses and my hydrangea standard, which, as I mentioned earlier, I cut back pretty hard. So hopefully it'll recover nicely and bloom nicely this year. It does. It's a limelight hydrangea, so it's a panicle hydrangea, so it does bloom on new wood. All of the hydrangeas I have right now do, because I worry about like what happens in winter, and if we do have animals that nibble. Just makes me feel a little bit better. It is alive, so all the stuff I cut back, I've been seeing green, and they've been looking really good. So, and I have 2 David Austin roses in here, and a peony that's doing great, and some Nepeta. And you probably noticed the colorful trays of plants here, as well as I had some on my front porch when we were working on that side of the house. Those are plants that have been hardened off, and they are ready to go in the ground. And some of them are gonna get in the ground hopefully tomorrow. Some of them are gonna have to wait until I prep their beds. But they are ready to go, and I'm so excited to get them planted. It is starting to rain on me a bit, and I believe I showed you the side and the front of the house when I finished those the last day that I was working on this. So I'm going to end this video here. If you want to see how these beds grow more and what I planted them this year, make sure you're subscribed so you see my videos. And if you enjoyed this, do hit that thumbs up button. It does actually really help my channel. As always, I hope you are all well and getting some time to garden. And until next time, happy gardening.